So everyone's asking me, how do you build an AI agent? And there's so many steps to it. So I thought I'd just take this time to go through and show you the basic steps to get you started. The first thing you need to do is work out how you're going to do it. It's all very well to say, I'd like to build an AI agent, but what's it going to do? What are you going to do with it? And what sort of input? What sort of output? What's going on in this AI agent? So the best thing to do is sit down and plan it out. And you can draw this out with a pen and paper, or you can use something like the whiteboard here. But let's take something pretty simple. Let's just say we're making a social media poster. So first of all, we need to work out where we're going to get the information from to start the process. And in many cases, I find the easiest thing to do is to start with a Google Sheet full of keywords. That's nice and easy, isn't it? Google Sheet, and in it is a list of keywords to write about. We can make a Google spreadsheet. We can add a list of keywords through research by going to Answer the Public or Google Trends or any one of the thousands of other tools that are available. So once we've got that, what are we going to do with those? We need to do something to get it. So we need to get that information. So we have to basically get keyword from Google Sheets. That's pretty simple, isn't it? We all understand that. We've got a list, we've got to get it. Once we've got that, what are we going to do next with that? The next thing we need to do is tell it, what are you going to do? We've got the list, now I need to do something. I want to write an article about it. I'm going to write an article about the keyword. Now, you'll notice I'm saying keyword. Obviously, there's always more steps involved. So you'll notice here, we've got get keyword from sheet, which is great, but it has to be one keyword. So is it the top of the list or latest added or next on the list? Because you might want to run this day after day and move down the list as you're going. Have a think about that, because that depends on which part of the control program or the automation program you use to actually get the information. You're going to find yourself going back and forth a little bit when you're doing this. And so that's why it's so important that you think about this and plan it out. You can drag and drop and make the thing on the go. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is easier if you think about it. So you're going to write an article about a keyword, but how am I going to write that article? I'm going to use OpenAI to write article. Now, am I going to get that article back as text? So if it's going into, say, an email or it's just a piece of text, do I want it like that? Or do I want it to come back as HTML? So is it text, HTML? Because, for example, if you're going to post into a WordPress blog, you want it to be HTML because you want all the headings to look good. If that's the case, then, okay, what are you going to do with that HTML? What are you going to do with that text? So that brings us to our next step. I'm just going to change the color of this one so that it's a little bit more interesting. And our next step, of course, is we get that back. So we send it away to OpenAI. OpenAI does its thing and it sends it back to the automation. Pretty simple to understand, isn't it? So we go in and we get that back. Now, if it's HTML, then we're going to parse that. Now, parsing is basically reading it. When you use JSON, you can actually do it in the sections. So you might have title, body, conclusion, price, all those sorts of things are the bits that you parse out. And that allows you to basically filter that into a page and have it display that way. So the title displays. So think about it as a mail merge. You got the name, the address, the suburb, the zip code, all those sorts of things. Parsing it in HTML allows you to actually get all those individually. And then when you output it, you can actually put it where you want it to be in the order you want it to be in. So you might have it go into a Word document, or you might have it go into WordPress, whatever. This allows you to do that. So seeing as I'm going to parse that, or I'm going to need to also output that as JSON. Otherwise, what I get back, I can't parse because it hasn't come back to me as JSON. And OpenAI can do that for you. Now, you'll notice I'm not going into any great detail here, and that's because it's the sort of thing you need to look up read about and watch a video about to understand fully. I'm just showing you the process here. Okay, next one. I'll just change the color of this one so it stands out again, make a new brown one. So once that's done, we want to output that and we want to send it to WordPress. And what are we doing in WordPress? Is it a page? Is it a post? In this case, it's a new post. So essentially what we've done is we've created a flow here, and I'll just grab an arrow like that. So copy and paste that, and we follow our format along, and we'll put this one here, and we'll just grab the head and drag it back down here, and we'll connect that one up to that one. There we go. So there's our process, nice and simple to follow. Now, once we've got our process worked out and we've worked out what we're doing, we need to decide how we're going to do that. So we've got a couple of options. For example, we might use this one, which is make.com. Make.com is basically a straight line process. You can have branches in it, but it essentially just runs along the line like this and finishes at your WordPress blog. And here you can see a similar sort of thing to what we're talking about, except that I'm taking an RSS feed, I'm writing the title, I'm getting OpenAI to write the post, and then passing the JSON and creating the post on WordPress. Relatively simple and a good place to start if you're starting out with automations. This is a great place to start learning. It makes sense. It's very easy to understand. But what if you want to do something that's more complex? What if you want it to do a different post for each day of the week? So basically it's got to loop back, and then on Monday it's going to write a post that is a sales post, and on Tuesday it writes a post which is an information post, and on Wednesday it writes a post. You've got this looping factor, which is a lot more difficult to do in this platform. So do they have other platforms available? Well, yes. Another one, N8N, which is one that I'm really liking and enjoying at the moment, has things like AI agents. And the AI agent is like a central piece of control that can make decisions. So it uses AI to make decisions. So when you send a trigger in, so in this case, it's a chat trigger, I would like to write an article about dog training. It comes here and then it decides, am I going to use this or am I going to use this? Now, this one might write blog posts, this one might write articles, this one might write something else. So it comes in and it decides I need an article. So it goes to this one, gets the article, and then can output that to another area. Or it can spit it back to you here in the chat messenger. And that might be WhatsApp or wherever. Having these AI agents that you can program to make decisions based on the input can make things more interesting. And you can have loops and all sorts of things in here where you loop things back. But you might find this one a bit difficult. So why not have a look at Gumloop? Gumloop is slightly different, but it makes a lot of sense. So in this case, we've got a form here. We put the URL in, we choose our goal and our tone and all that, and it will go to that page, it will scrape it, and you can see it's got all the details that we've asked the questions about there coming into the input, and then it will do its job and spit out the output. Now, this big pink box here is actually a subflow, which you'll find down the bottom here. And here's all the elements of it. So if I zoom in, you'll see the repurposing goal, the target audience, the tone and style. So that's all the answers to the questions we put in on the form. It then combines all that and it says, use the provided blog content, which is the URL we submitted. Make sure you follow the instructions, do not plagiarize. So it's going to do the writing of the article, and there's all the inputs that we can see along the top here, which were our blog styles and tones and that. And then it's going to spit out the article here using Claude Sonnet. And of course, there it is there and comes out to you here in the format that you want. So it says here, output name blog post, string is the type. So string is just a series of characters, okay? Simple, straightforward, but the way it's done makes a lot of sense because you've got all these little connectors, and for some people, this is a much easier way to make an AI agent. And then having everything like this where you might loop it, so if I can turn that on, it'll loop for 50 times of that form if I put 50 lots of data in. So for example, if we were to use our Google Sheets that we talked about here, and we've got this list of keywords, and we wanted to create 100 articles, and we've got 100 keywords, we can hit the loop here and it will write article, etc., and spit them out to our WordPress blog. So if you were going to create 100 new posts on your WordPress blog, This might be a great idea because you can actually loop it and it'll do it all in one go. You don't have to worry about it. So there's a couple of options. So we've got make, nice and simple place to start. I like this one. This is where I do a lot of work. I'm moving more towards N8N because it can actually be self-hosted and I can actually have it on my own server. And then I've just really discovered Gumloop and I'm pretty impressed with it. And so I'm just playing with it and getting to know it, but it's really cool. Coming back to where we started, planning out your first AI agent. Think about what you want to be able to do, plan it out, then come into somewhere like make.com or one of the other AI agents tools that we use for making automations and build yourself your agent. It's a lot of fun. It takes a bit of work. And yes, you do have to nut it out. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not a programmer. I can't program. I'm absolutely hopeless at it. All I understand is HTML. It's the one language online that I do understand. The rest of them make no sense to me. But by using the help files and the community, I have been able to work this out and make this work for me and my business and my clients. If you've got any questions or you've built a couple of AI agents and you'd like to share it, please put them in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.